Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing today? This is Sports Talk with Chavez in episode 1. I know it's been a crazy year so far, but it's looking like we're going to have some more live sports starting to come back here real soon. Hoping all of you are holding up fairly well considering everything that's going on. People having to stay locked down for months and then other events happening that need to be fixed. But I'm here to try and give us a little bit of a break from the real world problems, try to make your days a little bit better, talking about some sports, things that are going on in the sports world. Thank you for joining me here today, and we're going to talk about the AFC East predictions that I've made. Now, this division has the toughest schedule of any division in football according to last year's records. Not only does New England bring in a new era without Tom Brady into Foxborough, but they do it amid having the toughest schedule in football. The Jets have the second toughest, the Dolphins have the third toughest, and the Bills have the fifth hardest schedule going into the 2020 NFL season. I do, however, believe that Jarrett Stidham is going to be a decent quarterback in this league. I followed him in college, and I thought he did all right considering the circumstances he was dealt. His senior year wasn't the greatest circumstances for him, but he competed with NFL-level talent every week pretty much there in the SEC when he was at Auburn. And he held his own. His junior year, he had a few pretty good games. If you go back and watch his tape, he just needs to work on when he has pressure in his face. And I think he can be successful in this league if he has the right coaching, which he's in New England. So they obviously see something in him that they trust. I just don't think that he'll be able to overcome being a first-year starter in a tough division with the hardest schedule in the NFL. So that's why I have them going where I have them going. Even with the Patriots having a bad year from their offense, they still went 12-4. They have won the division 18 out of 20 years with Tom Brady, obviously, but he wasn't always the reason that they were winning. There in the beginning, they were winning because of their defense, and that was because of Bill Belichick. So I won't, not trying to count them out completely. I am rooting for them to not do as well as they usually do, but they're going to be a tough out every game still. They're not going to just be a pushover. They didn't do a whole lot to improve the roster overall. They grabbed a couple of tight ends who usually take a couple of years to develop, and their receiving room should be decent, but Julian Edelman's another year older. He's been having some problems with injuries the last couple of years. It's starting to get up there in age. They have N'Keal Harry, but it usually takes receivers a couple of years, especially in that system, to get completely acclimated and become high-level contributors to the team's success. Even though the Patriots haven't done a whole lot this offseason to upgrade their roster as a free agency standpoint anyways, they still have Bill Belichick as their coach, and until he shows that he can't keep them from losing, I'm not going to vote against him. I'm going to root against him, obviously, but I believe that this year that defense is going to look a lot different. Like I said, they lost a couple of pieces. And I don't think they did too much to upgrade from the pieces that they lost. I don't believe that their defense is going to be as suffocating as it was last year. I think that guys that are really good on their team are getting another year older. They're going to be a step slower, maybe, hopefully, but we'll see. That's just my opinion. I think they're going to slow down a little bit, and I don't think they're going to be as dominant. Last year, they ranked 7th in points per game, but a lot of that was due to their defense again, and they were only 15th in yards per game. And to not really upgrade the offense, the offensive line, anything like that, I think it's going to come back to bite them this year. So that's why I have the Patriots going 6-10, and I know that's bad as far as their standards are concerned, but I just don't think that they'll be able to overcome all of those issues with the toughest schedule and a year one starter with that offense. Now, the Dolphins, on the other hand, they went and did like the complete opposite. They went and got players for their team, players that fit their scheme. They went and got free agents. And let's not forget, last season, at the end of the year, even with a terrible team, they went into Foxborough in week 17 when the Pats had something on the line, trying to get a bye week for the playoffs, and the Dolphins whooped them. Their season stats last year, not that great, but towards the end of the year, they started to come on. Overall, it was a terrible season. They had one of the worst starts that you could ever imagine having in the NFL. But like I said, the second half of the year, it looked like a whole new team. And again, their additions this offseason, I think, are going to prove to be really good additions to their team. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick's going to start the year, and they'll bring in Tua slowly, hopefully not too early to hurt his career or trajectory of his career in any way. They did do some things to upgrade their offensive line, but I'm not sure that they did enough to warrant putting him out there at the beginning of the season. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is more than enough capable starter in this league. He's proven that time and again. I mean, you're not going to get Hall of Fame stats from him, obviously, all the time, but you can get a couple of good games here and there, and then he's going to have the occasional dud, obviously. That's what he does. It's what he's known for. He has these stretches where he plays really well, and then he has these stretches where he plays really bad. It's just the kind of player he is at this point in his career. He's been in the league 15 years, and we know what he is. I do believe that the Dolphins have a good enough roster at this point and a phenomenal coach enough to keep them in every single game this year. I don't see them being blown out like they were last year and anything like that when what we saw at the beginning of the year to start the 2019 season. I still think that they're like 1 or 2 years away from like having real playoff pushes. I think they're coming along really nicely. I like their coach and Brian Flores, but a couple more years, and I'm hoping to have that good old Bills-Dolphins rivalry that we used to see when Marino and Kelly were doing their thing in the league, and both franchises were relevant. I'm hoping to see those days back again where we don't have to talk about the Patriots winning the division every year. But I do see the Dolphins going 8-8 this year. I see Tua coming in about halfway through the year and him getting a chance to show what he can do and show why he was regarded as possibly the number one pick in this past year's draft by the end of the season. And then there's the Jets. Poor Jets fans. You guys actually have a decent team put together now, but you got a cokehead for a coach. If you didn't see that intro interview that he had when he got introduced as the Jets head coach, then you you don't know what you were missing. But that guy is clearly high in that interview. And he's just a terrible head coach. He didn't do anything in Miami when he was there, and he hasn't really done anything in New York. I don't see that changing. He causes more problems than he solves, really. And it's the Jets. You guys always find a way to mess things up in fantastic fashion, year in and year out. Last season wasn't as bad as it could have been, considering Sam Darnold ended up with mono, and you guys' season pretty much went down the drain after that. But there were flashes of you guys being a somewhat relevant team, but you guys they need to be more consistent with that. And with Adam Gase as your head coach, I don't see that happening. The defense actually ranked 7th in yards per game last year. And that was with missing C.J. Mosley for most of the year. He pretty much only played like 2 or 3 games. The offensive line, I don't see how they can do much worse. Pretty much dead last in the league. And you guys did a little bit to improve on that too this offseason. But I'm not sure if they did enough in the receiver department. After letting Robbie Anderson walk in free agency, you bring in Rashad Perriman, who has shown a couple of flashes here and there, but hasn't really shown why he was a number 1 draft pick. But I did like the Denzel Mims pick. I think it'll take him a year or 2 to get acclimated to the NFL, as it usually does for college receivers coming into the NFL. But eventually you'll see that pick's worth, but not this season. Not with this offense. Yeah, with a shortened off season, I mean, you guys still got a young quarterback. He's got to get acclimated with new receivers and everything. I just don't see how the Jets have fixed the things on the defensive side that they needed to fix either. They were 7th in yards allowed, but they also finished in the bottom third of the league in points allowed per game. And they didn't fix their pass rushing problem or their problems at cornerback. That being said, with their schedule and the problems that they have internally and with the head coach that they have, I see the Jets going 4-12 this year. I just don't see them making a lot of progress without having made any blockbuster moves this offseason, mixed in with the fact, like I said, that this offseason's not like any other one with COVID and everything going on. I just see them being in last place in the AFC East again. And I believe that Adam Gase will be fired after the end of the season. And then the Jets will start their cycle of mediocrity over and over again. Last but certainly not least, let's get into my Buffalo Bills predictions. This is all contingent on the fact that I believe Josh Allen can make a significant jump in improvement in year 3. He has all the weapons he needs. He's got continuity with the offensive line. Like I said, having everything he needs, the addition of Stephon Diggs and the 2 young receivers that they picked up that are big-bodied guys, Gabriel Davis and Isaiah Hodges. The offensive line isn't full of flashy names. I mean, Mitch Morse, but other than that, they are the same guys that they had last year. So that will make it easier for them to mesh and play together well on the field. This is something that the Bills have not had in quite some time, continuity on the offense. It's mostly the same returning guys. We're just plugging in Stephon Diggs, and he is a great talent. The backfield duo of Devin Singletary and Zach Moss is going to be phenomenal. Having them two as a 1-2 punch is going to be great to watch as a Bills fan and as a fan of football. You get Devin Singletary, who is more of a utility back. He can run between the tackles when he's asked to, but then you have Zach Moss, who is that bruiser. He's going to punish you when he runs the ball. And then there's the trio of wide receivers that we have now as the core wide receivers that'll be on the field the most. It's among the best in the league now. There's no doubting that. Stephon Diggs is a proven talent. John Brown, Cole Beasley, they're proven guys in this league. And the three of them together is going to be great to watch. It's going to be great for Josh Allen to have to throw to, have any one of those guys as an option. And Dawson Knox, who, as long as he can solve his drops problem, which I believe he will, this offense is going to be fun to watch this year. Hopefully they do great things. I'm hoping that they improve on their 23rd ranked points per game and 24th ranked in yards per game. I do believe with these weapons on offense that they'll be able to do that now. They were also ranked 20th in first downs. Now having those big-bodied receivers on third down, Stephon Diggs, if you get any one-on-ones with him, he's going to come down with the ball. All of these are things, like I said, that will improve with Josh's improvement to read defenses and put the ball in the right spot for his guys to make a play. He also, in my opinion, needs to work on his fumbling issue that he's got. He fumbles a little too much, gets a little careless with the ball when he's running, sometimes in the pocket too, doesn't feel a guy. Just want to see that pocket awareness get up there a little bit more, and the way that he processes the defense. I want to see that speed up a little bit too. But there's no doubt that Josh Allen is an ultimate competitor. And more times than not, he comes through in the clutch. Take away him trying to do a little too much at the end of that Houston playoff game. And he's among the best QBs in the fourth quarter when it comes to efficiency. Something clicks on in that second half, and he just wills himself to do better. We want to just see him avoid the mistakes in the early stages of games that he had to get himself out of last year at the beginning of the year. We want to see him avoid that throughout the whole season. He's a freak athlete, and with his competitiveness, the sky is the limit for the Bills this year. There is no excuse anymore for this offense to not be good. And obviously, when you're talking about the Bills, you can't talk about the Bills without talking about their defense. Their defense is still going to lead the way, of course, as I believe they upgraded from the edge this offseason with the additions of Epinesa and Addison. They're going to take the places of Shaq Lawson and Murphy, hopefully. I do see those two additions as upgrades there. I'm excited to see Ed Oliver come out of this offseason stuff that he got himself into. I think he's going to come back hungry, ready to work, and prove that he's not going to continue to make mistakes like that he did this summer. I'm just chalking it up to him being a young guy and just Just wasn't thinking. We all make mistakes. And we got Harrison Phillips returning this year. He was doing really good before he messed up his knee last season. And then on the second level, we have Tremaine Edmonds still, obviously, and Matt Milano, two of the most underrated linebackers in the league right now, in my opinion. And then the back end, we have three guys back there in Tre'Davious White, Micah Hyde, and Jordan Poyer, who are all fantastic. I mean, Trey Day is all-pro, and Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer are Pro Bowl talent safeties. Even if Josh Norman is the one to fill in opposite Tre'Davious, that's still a pretty good back end of a defense. And then the other additions we brought in there too for the slot guys and to compete for that other spot opposite Tre'Davious White. Levi Wallace is still there. But those three guys in the back end are the reason that the Bills' pass defense ranks amongst the best year in and year out in the NFL. And they will be the reason that they enjoy any kind of postseason success that they might have. The only thing, I think the loss of Lorenzo Alexander as a leader will be kind of bittersweet, if you will. I was hoping for him to see some postseason success himself before he retired, but I believe the Bills are poised to make a deep postseason run this year. I predict the Bills will be 11-5 with a strong defense and a much improved offense. Again, this is assuming that Josh Allen and Brian Daboll can integrate Stephon Diggs seamlessly into the offense and the unit progresses as a whole, the offense meaning. Oh, well, those are my AFC East predictions. Just to recap, we have the Bills winning the division at 11-5, the Dolphins finishing second at 8-8, the Patriots coming in at third with a 6-10 record, and the Jets finishing out the pack at 4-12. That's all for today. Thanks for joining me here, guys. If you like the video, give it a like. If you want to see more videos like this one in the future, just press that subscribe button. I will be posting my social media info in the description if you'd like to follow me on those platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also become a contributor to this channel. And if you'd like, any and all contributions are welcome to help increase the quality of the content I put out there for you guys. That link to my Patreon site will also be in the description. Thanks again, guys, so much, and have a great rest of your day.